Hello, sweet viewers, and welcome to Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. Today, we will introduce the happy winged residents of Safehaven Parrot Refuge and warm-hearted co-founders, Christine and Paul Foreman.
They're almost human. Cors have mentality of a 4-year-old child. They've got very distinctive body language, and they all get their own moods, a bit like us, really.
They're like children. They know what you want them to do, but if they want to be awkward, they'll be awkward.
Christine was enchanted by the sophisticated nature of these beings from the moment she had her first parrot.
I fell in love with macaws, and I thought I'll save up for one, and nothing prepared me for what I took on. But he was into all kinds of mischief. Everything you would believe he did. He learned how to open the fridge and used to pinch stuff out of the fridge. And he was an absolute, well, he was a fantastic character.
With boundless patience, love and commitment, Christine soon became an expert in the lifelong care of parrots. Then, over time, she took in parrots in need of a home for various reasons. Sometimes caregivers were unable to provide adequate attention, elderly couples could not provide quality care, or a new baby arrived. There were also sad cases of abuse, neglect, or illegal trade.
Safehaven Parrot Refuge started in 1986. We took our first bird in called Cindy, a blue and gold macaw. And we had an article in the
Daily
Express, and it was all about us. And they printed our phone number, and the phone didn't stop ringing for ages and ages. And birds just kept coming in and coming in and coming in. Then gradually the volunteers started coming in, and things began to get a bit easier, because there were times when Paul and I were working. We always made sure we had enough food money to feed the birds, and we went without ourselves, didn't we, rather than let the birds go without.
Safehaven Parrot Refuge provides a loving home for many birds. Some live in a carefully arranged foster home. Others are permanent residents at the refuge and are available only for sponsorship, but not rehoming or fostering.
We had this conservatory built, and it's been purpose-built for the birds. We've got special blinds to keep out the heat, and even the windows are special ones to keep the heat out, because birds suffer more from the heat than they do from the cold. But in the winter, we've got heaters out there to help them. OK, I'll take you in and you can meet the rest of the macaws. Mimi used to live with a priest.
OK. This is Mimi. Come on, Mimi. Come on. Come on. Here's good. Here's a good girl. She doesn't like other birds. When we put all the birds away at night, she always comes out and sits on the top for a few hours when they're all gone.
This one's Cindy, and Cindy was the first one we ever took in 1985. This one's Scarlett, and Scarlett doesn't really like anybody. The only person Scarlett likes is we have a young girl come here. She's at university now, but she was here on work placement. And Scarlett fell in love with her. She'll probably come and visit him again. And this one's Ali. Ali was rescued by a group of young men and taught really bad language, which she's since forgotten, fortunately. Over here is Kirance. Kirance was confiscated as an egg by customs, and his mate is Biggles, and she's probably in there. This used to have shavings in it to put in the bottoms of the cages, but they use it as a kind of a play box now. But she's right in the bottom. And Biggles' previous owners have moved to Cyprus.
Although Elwood's on the tree, and he's always lived on the tree, I've been finding him in Ali's cage in the morning, because Ali comes out and she doesn't stay in the cage. So I'm not sure whether she wants to go in a cage or whether she wants to stay on the tree. I'll have to keep up my eye on her for a while.
And when it's nice, they all go out in the garden, and I prepare all the food. Then round about 6:30 to 7, the majority of them go to bed. And once they've gone to bed, they're all quiet. This is the cage that Charlie and Coco live in. And within about 5 minutes of having this new cage, Coco had broken the latch off, ruined all this, picked all this off, but it's not poisonous, this is powder coating, because some cages, if they're made of metal, parrots can get metal poisoning, which is quite dangerous.
Christine and Paul are able to keep their birds in good health by feeding them a well-balanced all-plant diet.
All the food the birds eat here is fit for human consumption. We use this tidy mix. It's got banana chips, Brazil nuts, peanuts, sunflower seeds that haven't got a shell. It's got safflower, walnuts, cashew nuts. It's a complete mix. It's got pieces of fruit, pieces of dried fruit, garlic sticks, because parrots love crisps and chips, but you shouldn't give them too many. But these are not salty, so it's a really good mix, this one. We always give them roasted monkey nuts, because unroasted ones contain a fungus, and that can cause aspergillosis, which is a lung disease, and most often it's fatal. We always buy pine nuts from a wholesaler, and they don't have shells on, so you can see that they're all nice and fresh, because quite often if the pine nuts are in the shell, there's a green mould inside that as well. That's all with their morning meal, and they have fruit and vegetables, and all the apples are for human consumption. They have bananas. We buy them walnut hard, so they get because during the summer we can't get the proper walnuts. We always buy a sack of walnuts for them in the winter, but until then they have these. So they get quite a varied diet, and they have to have these are vitamins and minerals they have, and they also have this, which is a probiotic. They have that once a week. This works really well, because if ever a bird's sick, it's a lifesaver, because if, say, you can't get to a vet straight away, then you can feed them this in their drinking water. They'll always drink it. And if they have to be on antibiotics, antibiotics kill the good stuff in their gut, as well as the bad stuff. So the probiotic replaces what's missing. But we've saved birds' lives with this. It's absolutely fantastic. Well, here we are now in the kitchen. We only use the kettle and the microwave to cook in, because using Teflon can be very poisonous to birds. In fact, just a whiff of it will kill them. And you get that in irons, on ironing board covers, toasters. You have to be very careful, because it is deadly towards birds. But as you can see, they must have toys. It keeps them stimulated. It helps keep their beaks worn down. And a lot of people think that when they're grinding their beak, they're doing it to sharpen it, but it's like a cat purring. You know, cat purrs when it's happy. But when a parrot's happy, it grinds its beak and just sits on one foot.
Caring for parrots the way Christine and Paul do is truly demanding work and requires a lot of attention and love, which translates into a busy daily routine.
In the mornings, we start at 9 o'clock and the cages are all cleaned, emptied and washed out. All the tins are taken out into the kitchen and Chris does the food and water. And the cages are absolutely cleaned out so that they're nice and clean. And the birds hopefully are in the garden. It's easier. In the winter when they're in here, they're playing on the top and they also like come to you to do it, which you don't always want. But, we finish about 1 o'clock. That's including putting the food back in, getting them back in. It's quite a long morning, and then of course you've got tidying up after that. So it's quite a long morning. And then it all happens again in the afternoon. We start at 4:30 and we'll go until about 7 or 8. It all depends what's going to be done. If there's has got to be put in, it might take a little longer. But there's always a lot to do.
We've been living with parrots, literally living with them for 25 years now. And until I met Christine, I wouldn't have turned my head to look at a parrot. And now, it's just a way of life now. We can't go away on holidays or anything. We haven't been away for 25 years on a holiday. But this is much better, really, than going on holiday, really, looking after these.
They bring a lot of joy, but they also bring a lot of sadness, because when one dies, it's horrible. It's sad for everybody, really. It's like losing one of your family.
Like many other conscious people, Christine and Paul strongly believe that the parrot trade should stop.
They import birds. They're still doing it, and I think it's wrong. And I've been to shows where you walk round and you see cages full of African greys on the ground. Cages packed with birds, and they're terrified, they're growling. And they shouldn't be on the floor anyway, because birds don't like being down there, not unless they go there by themselves. And I've been to shows and seen people with birds on chains on their legs. And these shows are terrible. They should be banned, because they try and sell all these poor wild-caught birds, and these birds are so terrified, sometimes they'll never ever tame down. And they'll get passed from pillar to post, which is wrong, because it causes them lots of stress. They do belong in the wild. They shouldn't import them anymore.
Until the parrot trade ends for good, for Britain, the Safehaven Parrot Refuge offers hope for birds left with nowhere else to turn, accepting them unconditionally, no matter what their story. Thank you for your company on today's Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. Tune in next Tuesday, September 27th, for the continuation of our two-part programme featuring the Safehaven Parrot Refuge and its inhabitants. Coming up next is Between Master and Disciples, here on Supreme Master Television. May your every morning be greeted with the melodious song of a feathered friend. For more information about the Safehaven Parrot Refuge, please visit www.safehavenparrotrefuge.co.uk.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/VEG.
A message from the SEALs reads, We want to help restore the balance in this part of the tip of Africa, and it is hoped that one day all species, both human and animal, will look upon each other as brothers and sisters. Francois Hugo, founder of Seal Alert South Africa.
Eating or using animal products is like burning your own room while you are in it. Supreme Master Ching Hai.
Harming or killing animal co-inhabitants is like destroying our own protective power. Helping or saving animal co-inhabitants is like enforcing our safety fortress. Supreme Master Ching Hai.
If you just think of them as a human being, you can't go far wrong. I'm very unconventional when it comes to birds. I just talk to them normally. Birds do as I tell them. I don't know why, but they do. They know what I want, and they do it.
Greetings, shining viewers. We are glad you could join us on Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. Today, we will continue our visit to Safehaven Parrot Refuge in the United Kingdom with its clever feathered residents and caring founders, Christine and Paul.
Safehaven Parrot Refuge started in 1986. We took our first bird in called Cindy, a blue and gold macaw. And we had an article in the
Daily
Express, and it was all about us, and they printed our phone number, and the phone didn't stop ringing for ages and ages, and birds just kept coming in and coming in and coming in. Then gradually the volunteers started coming in, and things began to get a bit easier, because there were times when Paul and I were working, we always made sure we had enough food money to feed the birds, and we went without ourselves, didn't we, rather than let the birds go without.
Safehaven Parrot Refuge provides a loving home for 46 birds. Some live in a carefully arranged foster home. Others are permanent residents at the refuge and are available only for sponsorship, but not rehoming or fostering. Now let's go and meet some more of Safehaven's unique winged citizens.
Each and every one is different. They might be the same species, but each and every one has its own different personality. Radu there, he loves me, but Chester doesn't like me to get near him because Chester will bite me, and Chester is absolutely probably the naughtiest one we've got. We've got Swearing Charlie here, Coco there. Now Coco's paired up with Swearing Charlie here, and they love each other. So they still like human company, but they love each other and they'll feed each other and preen each other. This is Rainbow. And Rainbow's not too bad for a scarlet, really. When we first got Rainbow, he was ever so timid, very, very timid, but now he's fine. And this one here is Sid. Sid will not get on your left hand. He could be in really a lot of trouble. All the macaws could be ganging up on him, but Sid wouldn't get on your left hand to save his life.
Parrots are very emotional beings who form strong friendships and maintain the same partner for life.
Once macaws bond, it's a bond for life. And you might try to put one with another, but you've got to be very lucky for them to take on another mate. They'll choose their own mate. It might be the same sex, but they'll choose it and they'll stay there for the rest of their lives. This one here is Elwood. And the reason he's feather plucked is because his mate died. And poor old Elwood's been on his own ever since. I do feel sorry for Elwood. But he just doesn't want to pair up with any other birds. Up here is Jack. Jack hasn't got any feet. He chewed his feet off because he lost his mate. His mate died. And they left him on his own for 15 years in an outside aviary.
Christine and Paul have cared for many parrots with different backgrounds, sometimes unfortunately devastating.
Well, they're coming in from all kinds of conditions. Sometimes it's a really genuine thing. A person might be very ill, or maybe even someone might have died, and the relations can't care for the bird, so that bird will come to us. And sometimes the birds come from just such appalling conditions. You'll get a bird that comes in that's been kept in, say, an 18-inch by 18-inch cage for 30 odd years with no toys, a steel perch because they don't like them to chew the wood away. Terrible stories. Coco's the one who had his eye knocked out. We think it was done the day before we got him. And the person who had him said, I've trained falcons, I've trained dogs, and Coco was a payment for something that he'd done for somebody. And when we got Coco, his face was covered in blood. His cage was so filthy it took Paul a day to clean it. He didn't have any perches in it, and he didn't know where to put his feet. But gradually he learned, and when we gave him toys, it was like giving him Christmas presents because he'd never had toys before.
In addition to fostering many parrots, Safehaven Parrot Refuge also provides assistance with rehoming parrots in need.
The workload is enormous. Just about every day the phone rings for somebody either wanting to rehome their parrot or take one in. And we try and make it as easy as possible for the birds as well. Paul does all the membership and admin. I do all the rehoming. We always home check wherever the birds are going to go. And we also make sure that the person who takes the bird must keep in touch with the person who's donated it. We always match the bird as best we can. We try and match the bird to the person. If somebody's never had a macaw or a cockatoo before, we won't let them have one. They are the most difficult ones, especially cockatoos.
To have a macaw, you've got to have enough time to treat it like a child. It's got to have so much time.
And stimulation.
And it's got to be kept, stimulated all the time.
Plenty of toys, a nice big cage, plenty of out time, and also, importantly, macaws should have a routine. All parrots should, really. And if you stick to a routine, it makes life a lot easier for the bird. Well, if a person's never had a parrot before, I always tell them all the worst things that can happen. We give them a thing that says, so you'd like to adopt a parrot. And it says what to look out for if a bird shows signs of illness, feather plucking, screaming, biting. And I'll try and help them out with that. Well, really, to read a book on parrots gives people the wrong idea because they generalise, and each and every parrot is different. If they've got any problems with the parrot, then just get back onto me and I'll help them, because once a parrot's in a home, I like it to stay there. I don't like a parrot going from one home to the other. So I'm always very careful where the bird actually goes to.
When people phone us up to rehome a bird, she'll find out why they want to rehome it first. She'll try and talk them out of it. And if there's a problem with the bird, she'll try and get through that problem with them. Like it could be hormonal or something. And this is only a temporary thing. And the number of birds she's managed to keep with their owner, you know, it's quite a lot.
Supreme Master Ching Hai is herself an animal lover with 24 rescue birds of her own. In a gathering with our association members, Supreme Master Ching Hai spoke about her adopted bird, Sunny, and why Sunny had taken out his own feathers due to being neglected by his previous caretaker. She then reminded that all animals, especially birds, need love to thrive.
Birds, they're very emotional. If you don't treat them well and they're too lonely, you don't have enough time for them, then you don't have a bird. Understand? So you cannot just have any pet and then say they will be happy with you. They might not be. You have to see that you have time enough or love enough to keep a pet. Any pet, okay? They demand attention, like kids and like lovers, yeah? Like companions and friends. You must make time for friends. If not, they're very unhappy and they want to commit suicide. Yeah. Because in the wild, you know, they have companion, you see? They fly, they have fun, you know, they chase around. But in the captivity, most of these birds that sell in the shop are born in captivity. So they're not used to with the wild. But they also need companion. Would be the best if they have their own. But if not, then you are the companion. So you have to replace it with multiple love and, you know, patience. Yeah, they just need love, you know, and a little food. They eat very little. And no demanding too much, just love, you know, like petting now and again, you know, like a few hours a day, and be always with them.
Supreme Master Ching Hai's divine adopted birds inspired her to write the #1 international best-selling book, The Birds in My Life. Upon receiving a copy of this book, Christine sent the following message to Supreme Master Ching Hai.
Hello, Master Ching Hai. Thank you for your lovely book. I'm really grateful for it, and you've got the most beautiful birds. Thank you very much. This is Christine from Safehaven Parrot Refuge.
Our deep gratitude, Christine and Paul Foreman, for the vigilant care and limitless love you bestow upon our intelligent and sweet-feathered angels. We pray that all humans will come to love all beings and respect their freedom-loving natures. For more information about the Safehaven Parrot Refuge, please visit www.safehavenparrotrefuge.co.uk. Thank you for your company on today's Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living. Coming up next is Between Master and Disciples, here on Supreme Master Television. May your new week blossom with renewed hope.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/VEG.